Forbes India presents MConnect, powered by Marmo Solution.
Welcome to MConnect, celebrating architectural excellence and innovation. In this special series, we give you a peek into the creative minds of architects. Today, we will discuss the theme Frame by Frame, where we look at architecture through the lens of cinema, literature, and other forms of art. You may have walked past a building and felt like you were in a movie scene. That is the kind of magic we aim to explore with our renowned panel. We have with us Ashwini Duggal, the principal architect at Subash Associates. Ashwini specializes in building contemporary architectural forms with modern interiors, marrying aesthetics with functionality. We also have with us Rudraksh Charan, the co-founder and managing partner at 42mm Architecture. His portfolio reflects remarkable versatility, spanning commercial, hospitality, residential, and urban design projects. And finally, we have with us Gagan Kaur. She's the senior architect at Archi Hives. Gagan strives to create spaces that are stunning but also meaningful and highly functional. She balances both form and function to create homes and workspaces. Welcome to the show. First up, I want to know, which kind of cinema do you think has most beautifully depicted architecture? We'll begin with you.
There so many films are there which are created like that, but films which inspire you are basically few particular scenes, particular background buildings or something which inspire you. One of them is Matrix, the fight sequence and the corridor around, white and black, that really inspired her.
What about you?
So actually, one of the movies that I saw when I was a kid really exposed me to the potential of architecture, and that was Star Wars. And I was maybe 6 years old, and we were looking at a movie which was conceived as a thesis in film school by George Lucas, and he'd created this different world, and that world gave you possibility to imagine, because right now, when we at that given point of time, I was a kid, and when I was perceiving the built environment around me, like whatever is there around me, it was coming out of existing clues, and then all of a sudden you experienced an environment in a movie which had no pivots, it had no
Something like Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly, like Star Trek.
So Star Trek it's becoming real now.
Yeah.
It's actually become real.
Yeah.
Actually, I
The
watched,
phones are becoming.
I watched Her few days back, and I
Yes.
think that's coming to reality as of now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Gagan? Any films?
So there are like quite a lot of films that inspire me, because I feel there are few points you pick up from everything. So I would say Under the Tuscan Sun, I love the way the movie's portrayed in the vaulted stuff, the cobbled streets. It's beautiful. Then I would say Her again, because it's very futuristic, and I've grown up watching Harry Potter, so I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. So definitely that one.
Right. And Ashwini, as a designer, have films also kind of changed the way you view architecture?
Absolutely. That's what I told you about Matrix. When I was studying, the perception of that corridor, that minimalistic approach to the design came from one of the major factors. And that's what I told you about that. I was just talking about that movie, Rock On. The house which they showed in that, it really inspired me. That I was practicing that time, but yes, it just changed the whole view of how the staircase is built. So there are so many scenes. So even if you see any movie, you see if you have a good background, the cinema automatically looks good.
Absolutely.
So
It makes all the
it's all
difference.
making all sense.
There's also a very interesting aspect that a lot of end users, as in our clients, don't understand. As an architect, how do you, as an architect, what are you delivering? if I ask you a question, what do you think we are delivering?
Beautiful spaces.
Beautiful. So aesthetic,
Functional,
I would say
form and
aesthetical,
function.
okay. Meaningful spaces?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you deliver something, that space, so first you translate that space in your mind, right?
Right.
Then you will use a medium, whether it is a sketch or a drawing or a software or AI software, to translate it into an imaginary environment, and then you'll physically build it.
Right.
And then the client is going to experience the end product. So basically the communication with the client is through the end product, right? But the product does not exist. We are trying to explain the client what the product is going to be through CGI, this, that, whatever. But CGI is what? CGI is a walkthrough, is a film, is a photograph from one perspective, right? You cannot explain the emotion, what the space is going to exert on to the client through CGI, right? But the interpretation, the way we are trying to express it to them is through these mediums, and all these mediums have actually come out of films.
Absolutely.
That is so right.
You know,
right.
or art for that matter of fact.
So I have this thing, the reality becomes fiction in cinema, and the fiction becomes reality in architecture.
That's so true. So then, Rudraksh, you would agree that buildings also kind of follow a narrative arc, like stories do with drama, emotion. Do you see architecture and buildings as such?
Any sort of expression, whether it is art, architecture, literature, performing arts, will definitely have a narrative. It will have meaning. The meaning is going to come out of words, which are going to be placed in a syntax or a grammar to be able to create a sentence. So architecture also has language, and architecture also has syntax and grammar. We have archetypals like our arches and our colonnades and our this and that. They are words for us, which we put into a syntax, which is grammar, and we create poetry. So that exists for sure. But there is one more aspect to it, which is the experiential aspect to it. So you need to understand one aspect. As a product designer, the architect is creating the largest product that is there, which is a building or a city. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And if you compare it to one product, which is an ashtray, and another product, which is a city, then you understand the perspective in which you need to perceive it. You see an ashtray like this and you use it like that. But in a city, you see it like that, and then you are in it, and they are moving in it, and it exerts environment, it exerts social impact, and this and that, and all those. So the narrative comes out of scale, and the narrative comes out of how you are going to be experiencing the product. And I think the architect needs to derive that story of how, like, imagine a blind children's school. What is going to be the narrative of that school? It's very important how they will enter, how they use it, how they're going to exit out, how the day goes past through it. I think,
That's a very wonderful
The philosophy has to be there, no? So every art has to be derived from somewhere. You have to, even if it's functional, but there has to be derived from some theory, some inspiration. That's how any form of art, I would say that any form of art, even if you're sketching something, there is a theory behind it. That's why so many things are written.
So actually, Gagan, that brings me to my next question. Have you taken inspiration from a film or a poem while designing something?
Definitely. So recently we were designing this villa, and it's basically a farm. And our inspiration was from White Lotus. The way we wanted to have a resort-like feeling and mood lighting. And then we had long corridors over there and a beautiful landscape courtyard, which has been derived from I would say, series actually.
I've seen White Lotus, and I think the locations and everything, I think it's been so beautifully crafted. Actually, very nice. I would love to see that wherever you created
once
it.
we are through.
Ashwini, now tell me, do you think visual storytelling has also kind of evolved in the sense that when you started out to now, in terms of the use of mood boards in architecture?
Absolutely. It has changed 360 degrees. I mean, the way we used to show it to the client and the way we used to explain to the client, now it's totally different way to tell the client. Actually, client is more active and he knows more now. Before, it never used to be like that. We never used to give any visual presentation. We never used to give any 3Ds. Now, for everything you need a walkthrough. It is easily explained.
Now, Rudraksh, tell me, has any non-architect, it could be a painter, director, influenced your design sense?
My design sense, so my sense is coming out of a lot of people's influences, my conditioning, my exposure to so many things. But I believe my forms are fairly balanced. And I would say the first bit of art that really influenced my understanding of balance was Mondrian's work. He was able to make grids and then he was able to put colors in those grids. And you see the entire thing, it's asymmetric, but it has balance. And there is a certain, I would say, weightage in terms of the intensity of the color and the intensity of the other color, but the sizes are different and they are being able to complement each other. So I think that was very important, where how mathematics departs and where a more intangible aspect of design makes something balanced and symmetric in a different way, in an emotional way, rather than a structured way. So that was one. There have been a lot of architects who have written a lot, not on architecture, but other aspects also. So Corbusier has written a lot about canonism, which was basically the old ancient technique of the Greek sculptors to attain a perfect form. So, and he's applied canonism to architecture, which was a great philosophy in terms of designing a building which has perfect proportion systems, and that building could be manufactured in isolation anywhere in the world in different parts, but because it is perfect and the parts are perfectly proportionately manufactured in different places, when you put it together, it is just going to fit in.
Human figure, that's
Canonism.
canonism.
That is canonism. So imagine the human figure, like the statue of David.
Right.
It was made by different sculptures put together
So
perfectly.
he thought that human figure is the perfect proportionate. That's how he made his buildings. It's called the golden section.
He derived proportions.
So he derived.
So yeah, so there is a lot of, I would say there is a lot of written philosophy that has, I'll give you a very small example. There's a theory, and I don't know, I think it's from Camus, but I don't know, I'm not sure. It is called Destilge. And Destilge talks about the fact that 2 + 2 is more than 4. So the sum of its parts is greater.
Yeah.
And I think architecture and design has got a lot to do with that. So if you look at a sofa in isolation, and then if you put that sofa complementing another chair with a beautiful carpet, and it's not as if they are all the same color or this and that, they can be differently complemented, but as a whole, the value of the space that they create is much larger than the individual components. And all this is coming out of theory, which is not architectural theory as such, so.
Right. Any form of art that have also inspired you, Gagan?
So definitely, there are like a lot of artists and arts that have inspired. So basically, whenever I get stuck in design, I take inspiration, and it's different always. So we were designing a sales office, and the idea was to create a mural kind of thing or a sculpture, because it had to be very eye-catching. And so there was a certain, I don't remember the name as of now, but I was going through a magazine, and there was some new designer who had a sculpture, and it was eye-catching in black and white. So we derived the concept from that form of art and created and designed the building according to that.
Right. Have you also ever crossed like a cinematic space and taken inspiration from that into your design?
Yes, so I love traveling. I guess everybody loves traveling. So I have derived my designs a lot from travel. So for example, if you visit London, so it's basically blend of tradition and modern architecture. So yes, the features and the design essence, I've really tried incorporating in a few of the designs.
Right. Rudraksh, I'll come to you now to understand actually the kind of work that you do. So explain to us, our audience, what all is it that you do, and also if your work were a genre of a film, what would it be?
Or what would I like it to be?
Yeah, what would you like it to be?
Not all the work that we're doing
Yeah.
we're proud of, right?
Okay, absolutely. What would you like it to be?
Yeah, okay. What was the first part of the
So
question?
tell
It
us
was a very
about the
long
work.
question you
Tell us
asked me.
about the work that you do,
Okay,
and then the genre of film.
okay. So I see all three of us on the same side of the table. Okay. Whether we have 3 different practices or they divide further and become 6 practices or 8 practices doesn't make any difference. I think we are all here to contribute to architecture. Ultimately, when we are gone, then it is going to be our legacy or our footprint on what we are going to leave behind. Okay? We are in the profession of building things which are nearly permanent. You know, we have a recorded building which is 4,000 years old, and that is the kind of potential we have today. If I make a building, it can last 4,000 years, and that is probably the maximum man-made object can, right? So you understand the social responsibility that goes behind it. And if all of us are on the same side of the table, then we are just empirically looking at what we are contributing, right? And if that contribution can be as minuscule as initiating something long after I am gone, which becomes another architectural style, or the set pattern 100 years later, so be it. That does not make any difference. So I think my architecture has to have relevance in terms of meaning today for the people who are going to use it. And the sub-layer to that should be that it needs to be able to contribute to the entire volume of architecture globally that exists, so that it can inspire students to study further and understand something more and develop something better. That's about it.
Ashwini, same question for you. Tell us a little bit about your architecture and genre of film you think it would.
Actually, Rudraksh has put it very nicely. I can't put it that nicely, but I think I'm more concerned about the people I'm working for. I want to give them a beautiful space, and I want to give them a functional space, and that's how I want them to be. That's how I want to be remembered. That even the next time they say that he gives us a very aesthetically beautiful spaces and a beautiful structure where after maybe we are gone, people do remember us that this was done by so and so. That's all about it.
Leaving behind a legacy. Gagan,
behind.
Your thoughts?
I would say, so as an architect, when we design, so it does reflect our design style, but the client's requirement is first. I mean, we have to design around that. But yes, if a free-flowing design, if I would have to pick up my style of design, it would be more of dramatic designing, blend with the nature. So I love using a lot of natural elements and try to incorporate them in my design along with functionality.
Right. Thank you all so much for taking us on this beautiful journey through frames and forms. Today, we were reminded that architecture can evoke feelings of awe, nostalgia, comfort, and curiosity, because behind every line drawn is a story waiting to be told. With that, it's a wrap on this special presentation of MConnect, celebrating architectural excellence and innovation. I'm Ambika Sharma. Thank you for watching.
Forbes India presents MConnect, powered by Marmo Solution.